Here we are in day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft, and the 49ers have gone defense once again here in round 4 with pick number 113. And new Niners defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, the reunion, coming back to the Niners, continues to have his fingerprints all over this draft. Every single pick that the Niners have made so far has been on the defensive side of the football. Clearly, that is a huge point of emphasis for the Niners. Organizationally, they felt this, though, after a bad 2024 when they didn't have a lot of talent. They didn't have a lot of depth. They were poorly coached, and their defense was bad against the run. Poor tackling unit. Struggled to generate a pass rush. And they were just a broken unit. They felt this year, and in this draft, they had to remake the defensive side of the football. And so the Niners continue on that theme, and they take a player here in the 4th round who we've talked about on the show as being a very intriguing selection for San Francisco. C.J. West, defensive tackle out of Indiana, a Kent State transfer, is the newest Niner here at 113 overall in round 4. A big reason why C.J. West has fallen until this point of the NFL draft, he lacks the height that a lot of teams desire at that defensive tackle position. But I'm going to explain why he's such an intriguing player for San Francisco athletically. 22 years old, 6'1 and an eighth, 316 pounds for an Indiana team that was one of the surprise teams in college football in 2024 that made it to the college football playoff. He had 40 tackles, 8 TFLs, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, playing in the Big Ten. I always think the level of competition is important, especially in the Big Ten when you're going up against a lot of NFL caliber offensive linemen. And when you watched Indiana games, he popped on tape because of the sudden explosiveness, the speed, agility, and athleticism at that size. And with every single pick that the Niners have made in this draft, every single player has a background of being a good run defender. And in particular, along the defensive line, sometimes it can be very hard to find defensive ends and defensive tackles who can stop the run because of the wide nine that the Niners use. So C.J. West is a great run defender with active hands to fight and shed blockers, transferred to Indiana, and in 2024, you know what? He was even better against a higher level of competition. As far as pass rushing goes, he's a little bit limited there, and you'd like to see him improve a little bit there. And as far as the Niners' picks thus far, Michael Williams, Alfred Collins, C.J. West, those are players who need to develop and become better as far as getting after the quarterback. But this Niners defense was a gaping hole and a revolving door against the run. And they were getting gashed time and time again. The Niners are fed up with that. And they've made this organizational, philosophical decision here with the 2025 draft class to improve specifically against the run, which is what they needed to do. Another thing that's so fascinating when you look at the numbers for C.J. West, 25 pressures, which isn't bad. That's pass rush ability. 2 sacks, 8 TFLs, 40 tackles. Is Chip, if you come full screen to me, I want everybody to look at me right now, and I want to get your attention because this is why I'm intrigued by this selection. C.J. West measured in at the NFL Combine and weighed in at 316 pounds. How about this? He ran a 4.95 40-yard dash at that size. And so C.J. West is a big boy who can really move. And at defensive tackle, short area quickness is important. It's a good measuring stick for defensive tackles at that position because do you have short area quickness and burst once the snap goes to beat interior offensive linemen? C.J. West has that. 1-7-3 10-yard split was the fastest for players 315 pounds or heavier at the NFL Combine. And the play against the run was shown in the numbers when you look at his TFL digits. 2021, 8 TFLs. 2022, 4.5. 2023, 7. 2024, 7.5. What I also like about CJ West, he plays violent and he has good instincts. Here's what the Athletic's Dane Brugler had to say in his scouting report of CJ West. Doesn't have the size measurables to fit every scheme. He needs to continue connecting the dots as a pass rusher, but his natural leverage, play violence, and ascending instincts are of NFL quality. And I will say this, like sometimes when you're shorter as a defensive tackle and you have short area burst and explosion, if you're shorter, you can get leverage on some of those offensive linemen. So your one-word reaction to this pick for the Niners here at 113, let me know down in the comment section. For me, I'm going to say explosive because CJ West is an explosive player. More to come here on the show, but let's give a shout out to our sponsor, our friends at Chubby's. Whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubby's has you covered. For a limited time, Chubby's is giving our viewers, our listeners, 20% off your order with our exclusive code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. That's code CHAT at chubbyshorts.com/chat. You can support our show, and you can tell them that Chase Sr., Chat Sports, the 49ers Report sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubby's. If you want some awesome shorts, I recommend getting the original stretch shorts. Depending on how much thigh you're looking to show, they make them in 4-inch, 5.5-inch, and 7-inch inseams. These shorts have the stretchiest fabric for ultimate movability and flexibility while maintaining a perfectly tailored fit, featuring an elastic waistband with button fly. Enjoy the classic men's khaki style with the added comfort of elastic. And if you want to spice up your wardrobe too by wearing vibrant polos, Chubby's has that as well. And I really like them because they demand attention and they look good. The killer shorts that show off your legs if you've been hitting workday. And Chubby's is a line of clothing items that you can wear out to the bar, beach, lake, on a date, hanging out with some friends, or if you're just hanging out with some homies or by yourself at the crib. You want to wear some bright clothes on the golf course like Tom Downey, our draft expert? Check. You want to wear a simpler polo with this gray shirt that we're about to show you? You can go with something that is not as loud. So again, 20% off Chubby's using the promo code CHAT, chubbyshorts.com/chat. Get hooked up today. With CJ West, a lot of the weaknesses, things that I alluded to a little bit earlier, he's lacking that ideal height and the length. As far as the length, arms of 31.5 inches, wingspan under 80 inches, and so sometimes he can get locked up by some offensive linemen, and he can fall off some of those tackle attempts too in trying to reach for ball carriers, especially when things get muddy in that tackle box. He did have single-digit sacks over 52 games in college. The sack numbers by year, 4, 1, 2, and then 2. But I was very impressed with how CJ West performed with an uptick and a jump in competition going from Kent State, MAC, to Indiana, Big Ten. So let's recap what the Niners have done so far in the NFL draft. They have gone full defense. And I said this last night. We might look back at this 2025 class and say, this was the Robert Saleh draft. And the Niners certainly have a type with some of their players. And with this draft class in particular, all of these players have very unique and explosive athletic traits. Michael Williams is 6'5", 270, 4'7", 40, who's very violent, can set the edge, and he's really good against the run. He's only 20 years old, and he definitely needs to develop as a pass rusher. But that NFL body, the wingspan, the arm length, the physicality, the force that he plays with, he can play right away. Alfred Collins has an NFL body too, and like Michael Williams, he's elite at stopping the run. He's 6'5", 330, and he's been extremely durable. He's pretty quick for his size, and he has insane length, and I think that he can be a part of this defensive tackle rotation immediately as well. There was a clip I saw of Nick Martin chasing down Travis Hunter. He's a linebacker from Oklahoma State who will remind a lot of people of Dre Greenlaw with the aggression and the speed in which he plays with. In 2023, he had 140 tackles with 16 TFLs and 6 sacks. You can use Nick Martin as a blitzer, and he's pretty good in coverage. He has 4.5 speed, and he plays with swagger and a nastiness. What's also of note with him and Upton Stout is that Nick Martin, 221 pounds. He put up 26 reps of 225 on the bench press. That's more than his weight that he was putting up with ease. And he is a very twitchy player. Coming off a knee injury, but I feel confident about that because he worked out at the NFL Combine. He was one of 6 FBS players with 140 tackles or more in 2023, and he was on pace to average double-digit tackles again in 2024 before a right knee injury sidelined him. With Upton Stout, he too is good against the run. He plays bigger than his size. He'll remind people of Deommodore Lenoir. Again, the Niners have a type here. And Upton Stout was the fastest DB for the gauntlet, 4.4 speed. He's not afraid to hit you either. He will come up to the line, and he will smack you. He has recovery speed as well. He has pretty good ball skills. And he put up the most reps of the bench press, 225, well over his weight among all DBs at the NFL Combine as well. And so defense, all for San Francisco so far in the NFL draft. Yes, you know me. I want them to improve this offensive line. They need to certainly do that. But they also needed to improve the defense, and they have addressed multiple positions of need. You're home for all things NFL draft right here on the show. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Thanks for your support of the show, and I hope that every time you watch us, you learn a little bit of something, because that's what I want to accomplish.